Alrighty guys, as it came into another Dragon Ball Legends TOP guide video. I know this one's coming out a little bit late. You guys still have a bunch of time to go ahead and get this done, right? Since there's still a week left in the season. I know you guys are itching to get it going, especially for those of you who have their TP just stacking up at the moment. So the reason why this took a little bit longer than usual is because we actually have revamped the entire guide video process. I am now in collaboration with other creators. One goes by the name of Doomgeta and the other one goes by the name of hold on, are we a minute into this? Because I know I will get banned a minute into it. Oh well. So the other one goes by the name of Fuck Idiot. That's legitimately his name. If you have a problem with it, you're gonna have to take it up with him. I have no control over that. But anyways, there is links in the description, so I'm going to go ahead and have to credit the DBL Discord server. That's where they operate, and they also have, Doomgeta has his own private Discord server as well. I'm going to be having both of the links in the description down below if you guys want to get into contact with them, if you guys want to talk TOP with them or anything of that nature. Join the Discord links if you want access to this stuff earlier, because Discord actually saw these teams first. So the first thing I'm going to tell you guys, as per usual, is that there will always be timestamps in the description down below, because this might be a more lengthier video for you than normally. One of the first things I always tell you guys about is the general tips and tricks for TOP. What you want to do here is you want your friendship ring. Right, you want ideally, it's not a super enforced requirement, but ideally, optimally, you want all your units at friendship rank 10. It's very easy description as to why. If you look at your regular stats, this is what you're gonna see right here, and let me go ahead and put the TOP stats to the right side. You're gonna notice that all of your stats are going to have an increase from your regular stats to your TOP stats. That is directly affected by your friendship rank. It's gonna cap out at friendship rank 10, so that's why you want to get it up there. 100% the easiest way to get your friendship rank up is going into the events. You go into the Let's Fight event, you get 3 of these a day. Make sure you're doing them daily, right? This is going to directly level up one of your friendship ranks for one character at a time, right? So it does take a little bit of time, but just make sure you're doing these. Another thing that's pretty much just for the anniversary is there's 7 days left of it. On this event right here, where you can see the fusing Vegito and Gogeta respectively, this Hercule fight, the one left right here where it says one left today, this gives you a good amount of friendship rank points as well. So also be doing this. This one's actually even better because you can bring 3 units into this fight rather than just 1. And then lastly, if you are like in a pinch and you really are fiending for that last friendship rank level, you can go into story mode, part 6. It's going to be book 1, chapter 8. In here, you're going to have a yellow Super Saiyan 3 fight. This one, you can infinitely grind this, but of course that does come with a drawback that the rate at which you get that friendship points is abysmal. So the last thing that I do recommend for the friendship grinders out there is make a friendship grinding team like this, right? So all the units that you're planning on building up the friendship rank, have them all on one team, and then put this equip under all the units. This one specifically, it's this Shallot and Super Saiyan 2 Gohan equip. This gives you 3% friendship points on each slot right here, if you have the slot maxed out. The way to get this is basically in the exchange shop under the equipment metal shop. It doesn't have to be a god, it doesn't have to be triple red slots or anything like that, but just having this on every unit is going to help out a lot. Plus they stack, so you can put them on each slot, so meaning that all of your units are going to have 3 of these. Speaking of which, in the permanent section of the exchange shop, going to the red metal shop, going to the TOP stage, this is where you get all your equips. The ones that I always recommend is going to be the TOP out of the way one. This one's a pretty basic one, it gives you base HP, and then these gold ones are definitely good, right? This one's for melee type, there's one for strike, blast, and defense, and then this explosive clash right here. This one kind of sucks because, well, it's good, don't get me wrong, it's really good, but it's just the equip conditions on it. You have to be 7 stars or above. If you don't have your unit 7 stars or above, you're gonna have to go ahead and rough it out with one of these silver equips down here. Next thing we're going to be talking about is our pathing, this is always one of the staples of the guide videos right here. This is the path that I created alongside Doom and Fuck Idiot as well. This, and as you can see, we're actually, for the first time, we're getting rid of the circled boss fights, of the 5th win, 10th win. It was made aware to me that this is no longer how the percentage bonuses work, and so I'm going to go ahead and put a graph in the middle. Credit to Ab0, I believe that is the one who made the graph, but he ended up just showing these are the percentages from the fights. So from obviously fight 1 you get no percentage boost on it, on fight 5 you get a 20%, and it increases, so on and so forth. And then as you can see, the ones highlighted in purple, they're going to start increasing exponentially, right? So this is how we're going to be basically viewing the fights from now on. We're no longer going to be prioritizing just the 5th, 10th, 15th, 20th, and 25th fight. So say goodbye to the red circles. This is the last video you're going to be seeing them in. So as for difficult fights that we're going to be encountering for this season, the first one that we're going to be talking about is this rivals fight, is what we've kind of dubbed it, right? There's the corrupted Zamasu on here, there's the Jiren and stuff like that. So for attack order here, you basically want to either go for the Jiren, the Sword of Hope Trunks, or the Go Frieza. Those are interchangeable for the first 3 units you're going to be attacking. And then after that, you're going to want to go for the Zamasu, the Hits, and then the Goku at the end. Right. Another important thing to note here, obviously, aside from the strike cover changes that are here, the Jiren is going to stun you on turn 1. You cannot do anything about it, unfortunately. Next, we do have this Omega fight. Who you want to target first is the EX Omega, the Ice, and the Nova. Again, those 3 are interchangeable. And then you just want to make sure you attack the Ultra Omega last, because once he gets to a certain HP threshold, he'll start buffing his allies. So yeah, definitely keep that in mind. There's also this ToP stage. Just target the free-to-play Vegeta first, because he does have debuffs available to him. Next, we do have this Frieza fight right here. Yeah, you do want to target the full power Frieza first. That way you just make sure he doesn't get that super attack at all, right? Because just keep in mind, he does have a really low key restore speed. So even though if you have a blast-based team, they eat the blast and then they get 100% to the super gauge, you still have an ample amount of time to go ahead and just straight out kill him. Next, we also do have this Majin Buu fight. So you do want to kill the Deborah because he has a stun on turn 2. And then you want to make sure you get the Pui Pui out of the way as well, because once I think he gets below 50% HP, he gets access to 100% to his special move gauge. So those 2 are the big units here. So next we have, this is what we're calling the Mohawk team, because a lot of these units have Mohawks, I guess. But the top row is going to be debuffed on your side right here. So where you see the blast damage up, and where you see the inflicted damage up, and then to the left of those, that row is going to get debuffs, right? And then Zamasu is going to be your last unit killed here, and then Tapion will be the 5th unit killed. So next we have this really annoying GT fight, right? It's a lot of bulkiness here. Who you're going to want to kill first is just the Super Saiyan 4 Goku. That dude does have the cover rescue, so I do recommend going after him first. And then obviously some of the heavy hitters like the Tag 4s can be an option there, right? Just whatever suits your attack order specifically. I think it is worth mentioning in this fight, specifically for sagas from the movies, I do like going for the red Tapion first, just because he has that green card action, which like basically strips you of your blue card on turn 2. Any unit, it's at random, unfortunately, so you can't really tell who. But say for example, one of your units is at 90% to their blue card gauge, he gets targeted by Tapion, he uses the green card, that blue card gauge is gone. And then of course we have this androids fight. I personally like going for the green 21 first, just because she has her stun available on turn 2. Again, just depends on your attack order. And then I will save the yellow 16 for last, just because he has the death buffs towards android allies, at least in the last like 5th or 6th slot, you know what I mean? And then in this Shallot fight, or this like modified Shallot and Beerus fight, it used to be like the green Beerus, right, or something like that, but that purple Whis will stun you on turn 2. Just kill him before he does that. And then for the final boss fight, I actually think we take on this fight 2 times. For our first boss fight and for our final boss fight is the Buu Duo. This one can be a little bit annoying. Obviously, the Tag 4s do get their Transcendent Kamehameha on turn 4. The yellow Super Saiyan 3, he has a buff against Regeneration. The yellow Vegeta has a heal, and then the green has a mitigation against blast arts. So this one is going to be a tough fight, but just whatever you do not let that Transcendent Kamehameha hit you. Let me know if there's any other fights that I should have covered that you maybe wanted to see on this little breakdown. All right, so the first team we're going to be talking about for our top teams for this season of ToP. So this is where the big revamp really takes hold right here, right? So not only is this going to be just a good team for the season, but possibly for future seasons, right? If for whatever reason you guys are on the radar for event exclusive, you notice these units, and you're like, hey, I could probably run that team. This is where things are going to start being, the revamp is going to help you out a lot more. So this is what we're looking at right here. What you can see right under the backup units, those are all replacement units that are possibly can be used for this team right here. So let's talk about this a little bit right here, right? So you have the Pui Pui. One thing that's amazing that I love about him is the fact that he has a max base HP is the ability for event exclusive, right? Because you notice with a lot of these event exclusive, they look like they're all over the place, but because they all share the event exclusive tag, they more often than not buff each other, right? So this guy relies on having Majin Buu Saga allies or event exclusive allies, right? So he's he's going to be buffing a lot of people right there. Then you also have the Cell. He has good support around him. As you can see right here, this is his range, and make sure you guys are like paying attention to the range. If you guys ever have a question about the range of their abilities, you can simply just click on them. You can click on them and you can see in the highlighted area, that's where he's going to be giving that support, right? A lot of people really love this guy a lot for event exclusive. He's naval, right? So he has the full board buffs and stuff like that. And then he also is basically a pseudo healer. He restores health of all your allies in range, because they're all event exclusive, right, by 1%, and that activates 2 times, and then you see the same effect with this Red Ribbon Army Piccolo, basically. To a lesser extent, I believe it's only 1%. Yeah, so if there are 5 other episode sagas from the movies, event exclusive, which we do fulfill, you restore health of allies in range by 1%, so that's pretty solid right there, right? And then you have this guy. He has some damage cut, which is very important for the game mode, right? He has damage cut, he has debuffs, all that good stuff. And then this guy, he also has support available to him in that specific range. And then you also have these other units right here, like the Demon King Piccolo. We use him on our Regeneration team. We know he's good. He farms blue cards extremely fast. You have some of the other guys like the newer free-to-play Broly. You have the Legends Limited Piccolo, who we've used on Regeneration in the past, that purple Gogeta free-to-play. You now have access to these guys. And for stars, these are all event exclusive. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm not going to cut you too much slack on this team. If you're going to be using this team, I would hope you guys have all these units at 14 stars. All right, so for the next team we're going to be talking about is Frieza Force, and this team is pretty juicy right here. So this is where the new format is also going to help out a lot of you guys for direction and stuff like that. So now you can see, opposed to the event exclusive one, you can see now that there's stars next to each character, right? So I'm probably going to make a little diagram in the future, like a little graphic, to make this a little bit easier in the future. I'll probably just for now put it in the pinned comments. But so yellow stars means that they should be at 7 stars minimum, right? So red stars mean they should be at 11 stars to 14 stars, and then the pink stars or the purple stars, whatever you want to go ahead and distinguish them as, that's going to be 8 stars to 11 stars right there, right? So it's pretty straightforward. Let's talk about some of these units right here. So this yellow Frieza, I think that's the MVP. He gets 100% to a special move gauge at the start of the battle, right? And then he also has this thing at the start of the 4th turn. If there's 2 or more enemies remaining, you get 100% to another special move gauge, meaning that you're going to be able to have 2 blue cards, and that second blue card turns into a ultimate. So that is really strong. Of course, you have great support with this Legends Limited Frieza right here. This free-to-play Broly is also pretty good. He inflicts all enemies with attribute downgrade plus 10% to blast damage received, right? This is a blast-based team heavily. Naval making another appearance right here. Look at all those buffs. And then he also has the heals for allied Frieza Force or Frieza Saga, right? So that's pretty good as well. And then you guys already know about Revival Frieza. He's a revival unit. Most of these revival units are really strong. Revivals and tag units, you can never go wrong with them. He also acts as a healer for Frieza Force. I think Frieza Force and Lineage of Evil. I could be wrong on that. Let me go ahead. Oh yeah, Frieza Force, Lineage of Evil. And then this Frieza, he has a stun, a turn 1 stun, and this Frieza also has a turn 1 stun. So if you run this team, it's literally going to be easy mode for you. And then of course you can see all the replacements underneath the backup members in there as well. The only unit that pretty much needs to be in between yellow stars and red stars, or well 8 to 10 stars, is that Goku down there, right? That Goku, he's an EX one. He's a healer though, and he can be pretty good, especially since some of these guys have Frieza Saga buffs. That guy is Frieza Saga, right? And another thing worth mentioning is that the Chilled, the Zenkai Chilled, he belongs on Lineage of Evil, not necessarily Frieza Force. So probably only run him if your team is pretty much predominantly just Frieza units. All right, so next we will be talking about GT. GT is another one of the strong teams. Same format right here. Again, you can tell what star levels are kind of indicated right there. Also, too, I think one thing I did forget to mention is that 7 stars also equates to having him at Z7. right? So that's a very important thing to distinguish here. But let's go ahead and talk about the Super Baby 2, MVP, right? One of the best healers in the game, specifically for GT or Regeneration. This guy probably won't ever die. I don't think I've ever had him die on me. And then you have this guy who has some good debuffs and stuff like that. This is the blast-based format for GT, so you notice a lot of blast-based units on this team right here. This Parasite Trunks, I love him. I think he's so good. On every blast, he's getting 2% to special move gauge. You can see his range right there for the cover change, and he gets buffs if he fulfills his kit if he's against Saiyans or tag hybrid Saiyans, and more debuffs right here too. So again, very, very good unit. I like this Majube a lot. He has a self-heal, I think, once he hits that green card action, right? And then he also is farming his special move gauge. He's also buffing his allies. A lot of support right here. This Hellfighter 17 actually was... I wasn't aware of how good this guy was. He has buffs against Sun Family or androids, and he just has a lot of good stuff right here. He does have the buffs as well. And on Blast Arts hit, all enemies get inflicted with the attribute downgrade plus 5% to damage received. That's pretty nuts. It's pretty good. This guy, he doesn't really need too much explanation. Look at that board of buffs right there. And then this guy's pretty good against Saiyans as well. I know a lot of people swear by this guy. So next thing is going to be GT, but strike-based. If you guys want to run a strike-based variation of this team, if you're missing too many of the blast-based units, this is a good contender right here. You have a ton of replacement options, right? So first things first, Baby 2. Again, we just talked about him. He's great. He's amazing. He's perfect. And then you have this guy. He needs to be in between, right? He has to be 8 to 10 stars. He can be a little squishy, but he does have the bubble shield, which is going to help him with mitigation. We just got a Zenkai for the Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Get him to Z7, right? Some of you guys may be stuck at Z6, Z5. I think that's fine for now, right? But ideally Z7, right? He's a free Zenkai and stuff like that. But he also has a stun at the start of battle, so that's pretty good. Mitigation right there too. You have this guy. He's getting 50% to his blue card every single fight, right? I believe, I forget at what turn it is. It's at the start of the first turn, right? So he's doing it pretty early on. Bola is just absolutely amazing. She's phenomenal. Look at that range of support right there. And then she also acts as a pseudo healer. At the end of the turn, restores health by 2%, activates 2 times for all allies in range. Tag 4s, they're a tag unit. Don't really need to go too crazy about them. They have so much stuff right here. It's practically an essay, right? And then on the backup units, we do have this guy. He remains right here because of the support being so good. And then for your Z tier, you actually have 2 Z tiers right here. You have the Super Baby 2. This guy, you do want him pretty starred up, right? As you could see, as indicated by the red star next to his icon. All right, so now let's talk about Regeneration. So this is probably the team I was going to use. I really want to use the Kid Buu. I was thinking about doing an all Piccolo. And I think I still might do an all Piccolo season just because that sounds fun. But we do need to show off the Kid Buu Zenkai, right? Especially since he fits on our blast-based Regeneration. He's a ranged type, so we're going to get him Zenkai'd up and stuff like that. I have been working on his friendship rank. He's at 9, so he's literally 1 off right there, right? So let's talk about this team a little bit. Obviously, you can see the stars, what they need, and there's so many filler units. Look at all those filler units. That's for you guys right there. That's a lot of guys that you guys can use, right? So let's talk about it a little bit. Buu Tanks, obviously, that's like one of my goats. If you're going to be using him instead of the Kid Buu, be my guest. This guy gets a guaranteed blue card on turn 1. I'm gonna miss that. I'm going to miss that heavily. GT Baby healer for GT and Regen, absolutely goated. Don't really need to go too in depth about him. This guy's really good. He's a slow starter though, so keep that in mind. He attacks at the end. You can see his Q source speeds on the lower spectrum, 2,394. He is super tanky though. He has a buff against Saiyans. I really do enjoy him a lot, especially he does have this cover change. It's a little bit niche, but if you do know you're going to get super attacked and you know what unit you want to go ahead and protect, he could potentially avoid that. And then this Red 21, absolutely amazing. I know a lot of you guys don't have her Zenkai because she hasn't returned in such a long time, the Zenkai event at least. So instead of her, what you guys can low-key can do, you can go into Z tier. You can pick up a Z tier character and get this Demon King, or well, the Junior, right, from DB Saga. I only have him at 3 stars, but if I had him at 7 stars, I would be using this bad boy. No doubt in my mind, I would be using this bad boy. And of course, if you don't have him, you can also go into C tier and pick up this Zenkai Revival Cell or this Zenkai Fusion Zamasu. Even though it's blast based, this guy fits here like a glove. But other units do include this Cell right here. He has really good support. If you want to replace him out, you can go ahead and pick up the Legends Limited Piccolo. That guy's obviously the best yellow on Regeneration, right? I hear this purple Piccolo is really good, so I want to try him out. I only have him at Friendship Rank 1. I'm going to go ahead and try to work on that, but he looks pretty damn good. I'm excited to use him on the field. This yellow Piccolo, I honestly am not a big fan of him, but he's Z tier. He's going to help us out with his points. He does have the hills and stuff like that. He's just a bit squishy, right? Same thing can be said about this red baby. That's why you guys do see the red stars next to them. If you guys have these guys at 7 stars and plan on using them, you're not going to have a good time. All right, so do keep that in mind. Next thing we're going to be talking about is blast-based Saiyans. This team actually looks pretty fun to me too. So let's talk about this a little bit. Pretend that I do have the Boo Duo. I don't have the Boo Duo, actually. So that's why you do see Broly up here. This Broly is a range type. He doesn't buff Saiyans, but he's still pretty good, right? I think he has a really good kit. He has debuffs available to him. He has buffs against Vegeta Clan Sun Family, which is basically just Saiyans in general. It actually might be better than Saiyans in general, right? So he does have that going for him, but obviously first unit I want to talk about is this Goku. He is one of your healers, right? He restores health by 5% at the start of the second turn for allies in range, which is going to be to the left and to the right of him. This Vegeta has a good amount of debuffs plus the Zenkai stats available to him. You have this MUI Goku. He's going to, obviously you want him at Zenkai 7, of course, right? He has good stuff going on right here too. He has mitigation on either a strike or a blast arts attack too, so that's really good, right? And then this Turles, we've stroked off this Turles a lot too. He has the buff against Saiyans. He has debuffs. He has a big 10% heal at the start of turn 3. And then you also have this Kale and Caulifla. I didn't know how good that they actually could be right here. They have damage inflicted. They have 30% to special move gauge on the start of the first turn. And they're like just constantly like building up right here, right? On every strike or blast starts, 10% to damage inflicted, 10% to critical rate. And then once they get below 50%, they heal themselves up and stuff like that. So it's pretty solid. And then of course their Z ability is buffing Saiyans base blast attack and defense, which is what we want. And then on backup, Fuck Idiot mentioned that this dude is a sin to not run, or it's a sin to not run this unit if you're running Saiyans, or maybe even Universe Reps right here, right? Because this dude is a Zenkai 7 unit in Z tier. This dude is in Z tier, bro. So we definitely did want to make a team for him, multiple teams for him, right? So that's what we have right here. And he also has heals and stuff like that, bro. Like, this is pretty good. Plus, he's buffing Rival Universe or Vegeta characters. We have Vegeta characters on the squad. And then Foster's pretty good, too. She heals herself via Bardock, Team Bardock heals and stuff like that, right? And then on Blast Arts attack, she stuns an enemy. So that's pretty damn good. Other like great units to mention from the filler list too is that Super Vegeta. I like that Super Vegeta a lot. He's S tier. As long as you're keeping him above 40% HP, he's constantly going to be wheeling out the second kit ability where he's getting 50% to special move gauge on turn 3 as well as 30% to damage inflicted. And so again, another Saiyans based team right here. You have the strike based variation. Who do you see here from the same team from last time is this Goku, right? That's your healer. That's your healer unit. Start of the second turn, allies in range, you're going to be getting that 5%. You have the Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken Goku. This guy gets a guaranteed super attack on turn 2, plus his key restore speed is insane. 2,400 pre-transformation, after transformation, 2,700. That's at Friendship Rank 1, by the way. And then you guys have this guy right here, this melee Goku typing. He is getting a guaranteed blue card on turn 3. He gets it like at the end of turn 2, which rolls over into turn 3, so really solid overall. You have both of the UI Gokus. Both are going to have damage mitigation. We've talked about the Red Turles before, having the debuffs and the self-heal, all that good stuff. And then in backup members, we do have this Blue Nappa, who has board-wide debuffs, right? He's always pretty annoying to deal with on the opposite team. He also is farming his special move gauge, which is good. And then you also have this guy right here, who's going to be one of your Z-tier units to help you get those points up. And as you can see right here in the filler list, there's a whole lot of options right here. If you're trying to run a Fusion Warrior team, I definitely do recommend using, like, basing it off of Saiyans and then going from there, right? Because you can see you have all the Ultra Fusions right here, UGB, USV, UVB, USG, or did I already say USG? Or Ultra, well, you have the Super Saiyan Gogeta Ultra, and then you also have the Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta Ultra right there too. You even have the LF Baby Super Vegeta, or the LF Baby Vegeta down there too, and Shell It. That's a free-to-play character for you guys for the taking. And then one unit that I do want to highlight here is the new Godku, right? The LF Godku. That dude gets a guaranteed super attack. I believe it's on turn 1. So if you want to use him use him. Next, we will be talking about a strike-based hybrids team. Easily one of the standouts here, combination standout, is the Red Pan. Because of all her support, her Z ability is giving HP to hybrids and stuff like that. It's all good, and then she's also going to be giving damage specifically for Gohan or Piccolo in range, right? So you can see right here, this is her highlighted path. That's what she's going to be buffing right there. But her alongside Beast is insane. It's absolutely insane. This guy's already good alone, but with the Pan support and just getting the Pan exclusive buffs, like he ends up going crazy right here, right? Goten, I am a big fan of this guy. He has a guaranteed super attack on turn 2 plus support in the diagonals, as you can see right here. Specifically, he's only buffing that Bola, but I'd rather have the Pan buffs than the Goten buffs, if you know what I mean. But he also has a pretty good key restore speed. Once he transforms, it goes up to 2,647 at friendship rank 6. This Trunks, he basically has Zenkai stats. He's S tier. He's pretty solid right here overall. Don't let him get defeated. You don't want the access to this part of the kit. And then Bola, really solid overall, full board buffs, and then acts as a healer as well. Heat Dome Trunks is also pretty good for his Zenkai. Buff against Regeneration is always really, really solid right there. Has debuffs available to him as well. And then on backup, you do have this tag unit. Tag units are great, right? No one's ever going to argue against tag units. You do want some stars on this guy. And I'm not saying you have to have them. It's at 11 stars or 14 stars, but definitely between 8 and 10, as indicated by the pink star right there. And then you also have this Trunks who does have buffs for the team here as well. Has 40% to strike damage inflicted, and then at the end of the first turn, you're activating your green card, 20% to own damage, 25% to special move damage, and 15% to damage inflicted by allied Vegeta clan, Super Saiyan, or hybrid. That's for all of your allies, all of them, every single one of them. So next we're going to be talking about Sun Family. So it's basically the mixture of hybrids and, well, yeah, it's Sun Family. It doesn't really need to be explained there. Who do you see here again? Immediately, you see this guy, right? The green Goku, healer to the left and to the right of him, as you can see right there. You want a healer next to Taunthan. That's the basic strategy behind the Taunthan teams. If you guys don't know, this guy is going to absorb all damage for turn 1, so he is going to be acting as your tank. But if he is going to be taking every single hit, you also want to be supplementing that with some heals to keep him up longer, right? You also see Goten right here is going to be getting that turn 2 super attack. You see this guy right here, we talked about him on GT as well. He's getting the 50% to special move gauge at the start of the first turn, so he's basically supering every other fight. This purple Super Saiyan 4 is great. He's awesome, right? He has Zenkai stats available to him, restores health by 2%, and then Beast Gohan. Obviously, he does Beast Gohan things. We have the tag unit. Tag units are great, and then this Gohan kit, he's all right. So he's S tier, right? So you want him just basically for more points. He doesn't really do too much, but he does have some damage cut at the very least, so he's not going to just flop over and die. And there's an extensive list of replacement units right here. Obviously, there's some units that cannot be replaced. Maybe we'll start indicating that in the future as well. The Goku, you want a healer on there. You need a healer on there. Taunthan, that's the core of the team. You need that guy on there. But you can see the Kaioken Gokus in the replacement list as well. Like for example, if you don't have Beast Gohan, you want to go in here and then put in the Kaioken, the blue Kaioken Goku. He's an A tier, and you can just slap him up here, right? So that's pretty solid. If not him, boom, you can slap in this guy up here, which is the Fist Cube from the Broly movie. Like that's why these filler lists are pretty good. All the units in the filler list are really solid. I'm noticing that I just forgot to put a star on the yellow pan. The yellow pan should be 7 stars. You want her like at 7 stars. So next thing we're going to be talking about is Blast-based Uni Reps. Uni Reps is insane. It's bonkers. They remind me of Frieza Force, but I feel like they're better than Frieza Force. They're like a cut above it. Again, you have Z tier Kaba right here. This is the perfect time to use this team. This guy's in Z tier, right? You should be using this guy on your squad. And then you also have the yellow Topo on backup right here. This guy's pretty good. He does have a lot of good stuff going on for him, especially if you combo him with this bit, which we're not doing right here specifically in this setup. But he is in the fillers right there if you do need him. But Frieza, Golden Glizzy, this guy's amazing. He gets the blue card guarantee turn 1, and if there's 2 enemies alive at the 4th turn, you get another blue card, turns into the ultimate right off rip. whip. That's insane. Powerful abilities right there, right? Not only that, you're also prolonging you're mitigating a lot of damage, because this purple Jiren, not only is he just has the Zenkai stats, he's going to be tanky for you. He has all this. One of the big things with him is he's stunning turn 1. They can't do anything about it. Same thing with this Topo. This Topo is also stunning turn 1. You can't do anything about it. You got double stuns right there. You got support from the 17, and he's also just making sure you're receiving less damage as well. And then this Bergamo, he has mitigation, plus he has the HPZ ability for Universal Survival Saga, and then you got Kale. You got your healer right here, right? I like this Kale a lot. Whenever I would recommend girls teams, I would always recommend her, right? So this team is very, very powerful. And you can see in the backup right here too, you also have like the green TN. That's a very good option here if you end up going for the green TN in B tier. This guy has a guaranteed solar flare and a special move on turn 2, so he's pretty solid as well. Most of the options in our filler list are really, really good. Like, you have the MUI Goku in there, you have the free-to-play Vegeta, easily accessible for all of you guys, right? Stuff like that. All right, so next we have strike-based uni reps, and this was described to me as a yikers. Like, this is only in desperation. So, not saying to completely just write this team out as don't use them. If you need to use a strike-based team for uni reps, then this is probably what you're going to want to go with, something along these lines. It's not like terrible or anything like that, right? But obviously you're looking at this and you look at the blast phase version, the blast phase clears easily, but you do have this Goku, guaranteed super attack, turn 2, high key restore speed. You have both of the UI Gokus, which do have the damage mitigation. You have the blue Kale for heals. Kiawe also has a little bit of heals in her. She restores ally health by 1%. She's pretty good. And then you have the Topo. We talked about him. He has his buffs he has some crit stuff, all that good stuff. He has like the support right here. You can see his range specifically is going to be in the highlighted area. And then you have Z tier Caulifla Zenkai. She's just pretty much there for her Zenkai stats, if I'm being real honest with you. And then you also have this Bergamo, who's pretty good as well. But again, this is for in desperate times, you need to use desperate measures kind of team right here. The replacement units are pretty good. Like, I like the Ultra Hit a lot. He has like 2 stuns available to him, if I remember correctly. Urin's a pretty good unit. Go Frieza, obviously a great unit. The ToP 18, another healer unit if need be. So for the final segment, it's time to go over new units. Let's take a look at Gibby. So ToP stats, let's display him at maximum. I don't have him maxed out just yet. Key restore speed's pretty low, 2,253. Can be definitely mitigated with some friendship rank points right here. He does have the blue card. He has buffs against Saiyans. Oh wow, okay, I kind of like that. 60% to damage inflicted, 10% to damage cut, okay, and 30% to key recovery. All right, I'm kind of rocking with the kit. And according to battle turn, multi-target, first turn you inflict enemy with attribute downgrade minus 50 to key recovery. Is that just one enemy though? I think it's kind of rough if it's just one enemy. Second turn, 20% to damage inflict. Third turn, restores own health by 3%. That's good. On attack against unfavorable element, you get 50% to damage inflicted for 1 turn. After receiving an attack multi-target, you get 10% to on special move damage inflicted. Activates 2 times. Inflicts enemy with attribute downgrade minus 5% to damage inflicted. I like that. I like that. If it was against the whole enemy team, that'd be crazy. You cancel your enemy's attribute upgrades, activates twice, and at the start of the turn, own health is 50% or below. Multi-target, restore your own health by 3%, activates 50% to damage inflicted, and inflicts all enemies the attribute downgrade minus 20% to keep. Damn, that's pretty damn strong. But it 50% or below kind of feels harsh. Also, he doesn't go dark typing at all in this kit. I'm kind of disappointed. If I'm being real honest, why can't he go dark typing in this? Kind of feels like a shaft, if I'm being real honest with you. But other than that, he's pretty good. So the last thing we can talk about is the Zenkai kits, right? So let's take a look at Kid Buu. Let's display these maximum stats right here. ToP stats. He's at friendship rank 9 for me right now, 2,429. So I know he's more so on the lower spectrum in terms of attack order, but he's gonna attack next to my Super Baby 2 anyway, so that's good. He has the blue card and the ultimate. He has a buff against Saiyans. He has 80% of damage inflicted, 25% damage cut, and he's nullifying abnormal conditions 5 times. Okay, alright, he has immunities. At the end of the turn, multi-target, 32 on key recovery, inflicts enemy with attribute downgrade plus 20% to damage received. Okay, I like that too. And at the end of turn 2, You activate a special action, you restore health by 10%. That's huge. That's a lot of heals, bro. We don't even need to put him next to baby. 30% to damage inflicted and 10% to special move gauge. And on ultimate arts activation, cancels enemy attribute upgrades. And what is he buffing? Blue and powerful opponent. So baby's getting his Zenkai buff as well as this guy's Zenkai buff. So the other unit we're going to be talking about is this Super Saiyan 3 Kid So the next unit, the final unit we're talking about is the Zenkai Super Saiyan 3 Kid Goku. Let's take a look at his maximum stats since he does have the Zenkai available to him. Key restore speed's actually pretty good, 2,481. You can get that up with friendship rank, of course. Has the blue card and the ultimate ability available to him. At the start of the battle, 25% to damage inflicted, 20% to damage inflicted for 3 turns, 20% to damage inflicted for 2 turns, 20% to damage cut, and 10% to key recovery. And at the end of the turn, ally tag GT in range or Sun Family, 5% to damage inflicted and +5 to key recovery. That's kind of a weird range. I don't like that he doesn't buff himself. Is that too much of a nitpick right there? Why isn't he buffing himself? It's just above him and the row below him. Okay. On strike or blast arts attack, 10% to damage inflicted. You have, at the start of turn, you're hitting the green card, you're stunning a unit. That's really good. And you're getting 15% to your own special move gauge. And after receiving an attack, you inflict attribute downgrade -5% to key recovery for 2 turns. So whoever hits them, they're going to get slower. All right, so I think that's pretty much wraps for this guide video. Hopefully that was a ton of information. I feel winded. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys for supporting, and huge thanks to Doomgeta and Fuck Idiot in the comment section. You let them know all the appreciation and stuff like that. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. If you guys enjoyed the content, make sure you guys leave a like. Maybe even consider hitting that subscribe. Later.